It takes a lot to be a successful man, a whole lot. Many hours of being, in my honest opinion, by yourself, especially if you come from less than stellar circumstances. If you're not tall, if you're not good looking, if you're not charismatic or athletic, you got a long road. And when you're not successful, nobody cares about you. Unfortunately, especially women. Now, your parents, if you have good ones, will care. And if you have some good friends, they may care. But really, you're on the road to success by yourself. And you're going to be taking a whole lot of risks. And a person who did that was Steve Harvey. I mean, this guy waited until like almost in his 40s to become successful. And he was married multiple times. And, you know, he had to build himself up to be who he was. You know, a lot of stand-up comedy, a lot of movies, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff he had to do. Had to just really do some things to be somebody. And guess what? He got rewarded in a way. Well, not really, but he married a lady by the name of Marjorie Bridges. We now know her as Marjorie Harvey, who had at that time at least 3 or 4 kids by other guys. And one of her, you know, ex-husbands recently just got out of jail about 5 or 6 years ago. From what I understand, he was a certified snitch. He was one of Memphis' biggest drug dealers. Shout out to the brother. But he has this to say about Steve Harvey. Play that clip.
Jimmy L. Townsend, you do not look like what you've been through. Now, you've served over 20 years.
27.
27 years in prison. You were getting
28, really, if you count the little year I did in the state when I was really coming up in the game.
Because you were originally given like a life sentence.
Without the possibility of parole.
Now, you've been out for about, what, 4 or 5?
6 years. It was six years in January.
Just in case the viewers aren't familiar, you have been working on a book for quite some time. It's called Snakes in the Garden.
The reason I took the book off the shelf was really because of Steve Harvey. But when Steve Harvey made a link, I told you they sent me a link.
Sent you a link.
And in that link, we never did finish that. In that link, he was saying that he was talking about Jason when Jason was about 15 years old. Jason was kind of rebellious, just my son Jason. He told Steve Harvey one day, "You're not my father. Jimmy Townsend my father," you know, like that. So I guess it kind of pissed. Now, this Steve Harvey with the interview talking. And so when Jason told him that, it kind of pissed him off. And he told Jason, "I love your mama, so I got to love you. Now, where's that punk ass, you know, dad of yours?" So I don't know if it was from insecurity or what. Could have been. I think you're a multi-millionaire. I ain't nobody. You ain't got to worry about me.
So this man has never been in the same room with you.
Period. That's what he
called you a punk ass.
Yeah, that's what he told Jason.
I mean, you do look better than him.
Huh? I think so too. And you know something? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I remember when Marjorie and I was together. She used to hate. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell it all. I'm gonna tell it all, y'all. She said and it was fact. She used to check dudes with big lips. She was called soup coolers. Before she married Steve Harvey, they was dating. Because now be mindful that all this time we talking, even while she was dating. I could call her anytime, day or night. Me and Laura's daddy talked, and I thanked him for looking out for the family. We had that kind of rapport, you know. I called him and I thanked him for, you know, and like I said, for 20 years, Marjorie brought the kids to visit me. As a friend, we just friends now. She done gone on with her life, you know, dating and whatever she doing. And I'm going on with my life trying to, you know, fight and get out of prison. So it was that type thing, so. But when 3 days, I talked to them to show you how close we were.
Okay.
3 days before she got married to Steve Harvey, we talked. And she told me, she said, Jimmy, she said, Jimmy, you know what, Steve, he's so much like my dad, you know. And when she said that, I said, "You like your dad?" I said, "Yeah, you like him, Jimmy, because he's just like, you know, my dad." And when she said that, I said, because I knew how her dad was. He was the real deal. You see what I'm saying? From husband to parent. And I said, oh, you gotta wonder then, be like your dad. She BS'd me on that.
I wasn't ready.
When I come to find out.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I wrote them, that's another thing. I wrote Marjorie and Steve Harvey a letter before they got married.
Okay.
And was thanking him for looking out for my kids. No, I wrote the letter afterwards, come to think of it.
Now, guys, Steve Harvey was 43 at this particular time when he married Marjorie Bridges. At that time, he was extremely rich. He was 40 years old, or 50 years old, not even 40, 50 years old. He had every opportunity to marry anybody else. He didn't. But the lady that he did marry was with a drug dealer, and that drug dealer, from what I understand, saved her from going into federal prison. Well, how did she thank him? She went and dealt with his cousin, and then after that, went and married Steve Harvey. So now the guy and Steve Harvey, as you see in this particular interview, the guy has some words for him and all of that. The reality is both of y'all look stupid, especially Steve Harvey, because the only person that won here is her. You see, here's the issue with a lot of black men that I don't see with a lot of other non-black men. You see, most white men or non-black men will not let you, as a person, and I'm talking about women, have relationships with known drug dealers and other kids. You've been married twice already. Like literally, you married the first drug dealer guy's cousin. You come with these children into my situation, and then I'm going to marry you because, I love you for whatever reason. That's what other groups don't do that. Because see, Steve Harvey had to become somebody to be him. What did Marjorie Harvey have to do to become her? It seems like to me she may be talented in some way, but I don't really know a whole lot about her, what she did before, coming to Steve Harvey. I just know that she likes men to have a lot of money. And if Steve Harvey wasn't rich, he wouldn't have a shot with her. Even at age 50, he wouldn't have a shot. And you're seeing the same situation going on with DJ Academics. If you think about Academics, he's doing something very similar. He's worked hard to get to where he's at, spent a lot of time developing himself. He's one of the biggest voices in hip hop. What do you find Academics doing? Dealing with ladies in his own mouth and his own opinion that they shouldn't be there. When they deal with him, like he feels like they don't have anything to do. They don't have anything of value to bring. This is what Academics said. This is not what I'm saying. So what is the point of dealing with these women who won't bring you any real value, especially in my honest opinion, if they have children from other people and the children is telling you, well, you're not my daddy. Well, your dad is in jail. Your dad is in the penitentiary. So the mere fact that Steve Harvey has to deal with that is a problem in its own and on its own. And I get that he was married twice himself, but why would he have to put up with that? What is she doing for him? And if you can see how Lori Harvey acts, you can definitely see what the issue is with Marjorie Harvey. Here's what I want to tell you guys. You're going to work really hard in your life to become somebody. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fair. And it is going to be very difficult to get to where you're at. But the last thing that you want to do is to work hard all day and night, sweat, break your back, just to give it to somebody who you feel is good looking, who can't do anything for you, and gonna come to the table with somebody else's kids that you have to argue with, and their kids look you in the face, most likely in your house, and tell you that, you know what, you ain't my daddy. I would have put all their asses out. Go with your daddy in prison. All right? Most of these guys, whether you drug dealers or you big time artists or whatever, most of these dudes are trading their money for a woman. And you wonder why a lot of women don't respect men. This is not just happening with black men, it's happening with all men. At least make them do something to be there. At least. But guys are not doing that. Guys are literally spending their fortunes, doing everything they can to impress ladies who they have a history of not being loyal. This is why this guy's big time drug dealer is so pissed off at his ex-wife, who's now with Steve Harvey, because she ain't loyal. And if she wasn't loyal to the first husband, what make her feel like she gonna be loyal to you? I think a lot of guys need to understand this, that most ladies are not gonna be loyal to you like that. They're loyal, and people in general, as to what you can do for them. I think that what most men need to understand is that's how it works. Women and people in general love you for what you can do for them. And if you can't do that for them no more, they're out. As long as you have that perspective, you should put it into your mind that people could tell you anything when you're giving them money, when you're doing nice stuff for them. But if you stop doing it or you can't do it, that's when you find out who they really are. And that's how you get your feelings hurt. Stay woke, my brother. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Producer for all of you, do subscribe to the bell. We're out.